it's about my mother. It takes place in Liverpool, England, where she grew up. I would guess she was born in 1908, so I would guess she was about 10, 11 years old, so let's say 1919, something like that, 1920. She was a very spirited child. She was red-headed, freckled face, and I guess that goes with spirit. And she was a little bit mischievous, basically good, but she got into trouble throughout her whole childhood. And this particular story was about a day when she was getting ready to go to school, and the two neighbor boys from the block came out of their house and they said, "Hey, we're going down to the docks. Would you like to join us?" All my mother had to hear was the docks, because she loved the water. She loved seeing the ships come in. She loved seeing the different immigrant people. The people who came to Liverpool were not the people who came to Southampton, the fancy people who were going on big cruises on ocean liners. These were the people who would either stop in Liverpool if they had a sponsor and stay there, or they would go on to America the next day. There were rooming houses along the areas of the docks. So the docks were, I remember the name, Lord Nelson Street, okay? The boy said, "Come on." And she said, "Okay, let's go." And there they were. They went down and they watched the sailors and they watched the immigrants. They saw the Chinese with, I guess they had pointed hats, or is that and African people in colorful garb, and Indians in saris, which my mother, who was Yiddish, would call shmatas, but they really were beautiful saris. And that particular day, my mother's attention was diverted by a woman who was an obvious Eastern European woman, and two little boys who she called baldy boys, baldy-haired boys, and a little girl with a little babushka on her head. And the woman was speaking in Yiddish. She was saying to people in the street, "Wo kann ich kaufen Licht for the Shabbos? Where can I buy candles for Sabbath?" It was a Friday. So she turned to the two boys and she said, "That woman is talking in my mother's language. I have to go over and help her. Nobody can talk to her." So she went over and she said to the woman, "Du kannst kaufen Licht dort, and you can buy them over there in that store." And the woman was very excited. And she said to her, "Du redest Yiddish? You speak Yiddish?" And well, yeah, here I am. And the woman said, "So, Mabel, little girl, do you know where," and I'll go on to English now, "do you know where there is an Elia Rudnick and a Schlemer Rudnick? They're my cousins." And my mother goes, "Holy cow, I'm in trouble. That's my father and my uncle. This isn't a relative." She says, "She's their cousin. What am I going to do?" Well, I really have no choice. I got to take the consequences. I got to go tell my dad. So she went to her father's shop. He was a fine furniture polisher, and his brother Schlemer was a carpenter. He made furniture. And she went to the shop, and her father takes a look at her coming home on a school day and towards the end of the day, and he says, her name was Jean, but he called her Shandel, which was her Jewish name. "Shandel, what's the matter? What have you done? What's wrong?" And she said, "Dad, don't hit me. Don't get mad. I went down to the docks, and there's a woman there who came off a boat, and she's asking for Shlema, and she's asking for Elia Rudnick, and she says she's your cousin." Father said, He ran to the uncle. He said, "We have to go down to the docks." And by then it was getting a little bit dark. It was dusk. But it was actually a good thing, because they looked up and they could see candles being lit in one of the windows in the rooming house. So they all went up there and they greeted the cousin, and they said, "It's Shabbos, we're going to Shlema's house, the whole family will get together for a dinner." And that's what they did. And of course, nobody was angry with my mother because she brought the cousin and she got away with it. That's it.
the other day, I did pick up